Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here. Wonder Woman 1984 is a film that was highly anticipated this summer, but due to COVID-19 was delayed time after time. Now, thankfully, we get the chance to watch it this Christmas season, and I'm in Mexico, so I get the chance to watch it before that it releases in the United States, so I'm thankful for that. So in this video, I want to break it down for you, the good and the bad, what I like about it, what I didn't like about it, and ultimately I want to let you know if I think that the sequel is better than the prequel. So in the next couple of minutes, stay tuned. The good. The first thing that I need to point out about the film, the first thing that I like about it is Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. We can say with certainty now that Gal Gadot has really earned that spot as the Wonder Woman of today's day. She is good at it. In the first film, I love her. A lot of people were skeptical about her, but she really did a great job. Then, of course, we saw her participating in other films within the DC universe, the DC films. And now, in the sequel, I feel that she earns that even more. I feel that she established herself as a really worthy carrier of the Wonder Woman persona, and she is very good at it. Not only that, I feel that in this film we get the chance to see her even more on a deeper level. In the previous film, she was very naive. Prince Diana was really trying to discover the world, and it's a powerful film. It's up to this day, I feel it's my favorite film. Up to this point, it's my favorite film in the DC universe. But I do feel that on this one, she gets deeper because now we get to see her heart. We get to see some of her emotions. We get to see some of her emotional battles, the things she's struggling with. And that's a big part of this film that I really love. Besides Gadot's performance, we also get Chris Pine returning as Steve Trevor. You get Kristen Wiig playing the part of Barbara Minerva or Cheetah. And also Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord. And even though this doesn't have as a big of a cast, I think what it has is good. These are great performers, and they did a fantastic job in their parts, what was given to them. So it's good. I really like Pedro Pascal, of course, you know, with The Mandalorian, he has done terrific. And Kristen Wiig, I love her. She's very good. I would say Chris Pine perhaps didn't have as much in the story, but his persona was very important, was central to the theme of the whole film. So I feel that the story was good in that sense. The acting was good. And definitely it's another great aspect that will keep you entertained in this film. A big part of any superhero film is the action scenes. And in that regard, in that part, this film performs as any other. The action is good. I really love that. When Wonder Woman is in action, she's very, very good. When she's fighting Cheetah, those scenes are good. So, you know, the action is the best part of it. And I feel that that's the reason why we come to watch these films in the first place. Not only because of the drama that is going on, the representation of these heroes that we love, but also because we love the action. We love, you know, the jumping, the fighting, all of that. And you don't miss that here. So it's good, you know, so we get all that adrenaline pumping in the film. So I love that and I enjoy it. Now, the most powerful thing for me about this film, besides the acting and all of that, the action, is that you get two important things that are involved, are really intrinsical in any comic book story and also in the comic book films, at least the ones that I enjoy, is that we get a lot of fan service and we get a moral lesson. When you read the comics, or at least the comics that I grew up reading, I always felt that the moral lesson was a big part of the superhero stories. And I think sometimes superhero films, they kind of deviate from that. Some superhero films nowadays. But I feel that in this case, Wonder Woman goes back to those roots. You get a lot of Easter eggs. If you're a big fan of Wonder Woman from the comics, from the cartoons, the classic stuff, you definitely gonna feel connected with this, with the series, with the original, Linda Carter series. You're gonna get a lot of that, and I love that. I really love that we get that. A lot of information that, if you're a longtime fan, you're gonna feel so in tune with, and that's a big part of this film, even more than the first film. But I feel that the moral lesson, the story that is here, is good. And on the first film, we get a strong moral lesson that was really, really good. This one also is on the same level. I wouldn't say that it's as powerful as the first one, but it's also needed and it's very strong. And I feel that the film gives us that, and I really enjoy it. I definitely enjoy all that aspect. I feel that this one felt very, very good to me as a superhero story. So yeah, kudos for that. The bad. Now it's time to talk about the bad. Although this film has a lot of great points, it also has some flaws. And one of them goes back to the villains in the story. As I mentioned earlier, I really love Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord and Kristen Wiig as Barbara Minerva. They're terrific. However, it felt that their story, how they become the supervillains in the story, it was a bit rushed and a bit melodramatic. And at some point, I felt that this movie tries to humanize them very, very much. I do like when we get a humanistic view of villains. I love that. I feel that it's important so we can really relate to their struggles. However, I felt that this was at some point a bit forced, and you don't get as much background until the end of what's going on in their lives. But at the beginning, it's a bit rushed and a bit humoristic at the same time. I felt that it was a bit funny the way they did it, and they're a caricature of who they are as people. It's a caricature of people that they struggle with the same problems, and it can be funny and sometimes too incredible and unbelievable. So I wouldn't say that it's the biggest flaw, but if you really look close to it, it didn't feel as right in comparison even to the original story or the original film, where I felt that the motives of the villain were a bit stronger. But yeah, it's not a bad. I wouldn't say that it's the worst, fault here, but it is a bit of a fault. And because the film concentrates strongly into giving us a deeper look into Prince Diana's emotions and the villain's emotions, I felt that the film suffered with the pacing. It was like a bit of a roller coaster. It had some very strong scenes, and then it goes into an emotional plateau where it's more about deeper look into the persona of each character. So it goes a bit of it takes longer. The movie is really long. It's over 2 hours. And it felt longer for some reason because of it. And sometimes some things where it felt a bit disconnected, disjointed. So it wasn't as, I would say, as strong as the first film, where I felt that everything went faster and it was more on the same level. I felt on this one that the emotional parts were too emotional or too long, and there was so much explanation. I know that they tried to give us more meat and potatoes with the story, but at the same time, it felt that it was taking you away. I wouldn't say that it was every moment was dull or I was losing interest. I was kept interested in the film, but at the same time, it felt longer than I wanted it. And yeah, a big part of that has to do when they were too melodramatic, too soapy with it, and that's something that we need to point out as a flaw. Now, a big problem with superhero films and action films, modern action films, is the fact that due to the nature of it, of extraordinary people doing extraordinary things, it is almost impossible, if not impossible, to recreate that with classic special effects. So you have to rely on 3D animation. And the problem with 3D animation is that sometimes it can be intrusive. And although this film has a lot of great action scenes, there are times where you really know that you're looking at 3D. The secret of 3D animation is just to make it as invisible as possible, not to be noticed. And I watched it in a really big screen, but I was able to see it. It's 3D animation, but at some point it was really intrusive. Now, I don't have a problem with 3D animation. I think it's a necessary evil, if you can call it that. I think it's the way this industry has been pushed, and in some ways it has given us fantastic representation in cinema of these characters. However, I know other people, they have a problem with it. So we are really divided as a community in regards to 3D animation. It is not perfect. That needs to be said. It is good for some. Some people can be okay with it, and some people are going to be unhappy about it. So ultimately, it's just a matter of choice, but we need to point it out. In conclusion, well, guys, I'm telling you, I love Wonder Woman 1984. It was a fantastic sequel to the first film. I really love the direction. Patty Jenkins, as the director, went with this one. We get a deeper look into Diana Prince, and I like that. Of course, there are times where I feel that because it tries to give us this film a lot more, you also get a lot of stuff that kind of bugs down the story a little bit, and it felt longer, and also at some points a bit more melodramatic. But beyond that, it was an enjoyable ride. It is a fun film. Gal Gadot did a terrific job again as Wonder Woman, and I recommend it to everyone. So if I have to give this film a final score, I would say this is an 8 out of 10, which is very good in my book. And I would say that I put it right next to Shazam in the DC cinematic universe. But I still feel that the original film is a bit better, not by much, but still better. But yeah, I recommend it. I say go and watch it at the movie theater. So now, what is your opinion? Have you watched it, or you're still waiting to watch it? Let me know in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. God bless. Take care, and I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.